Hi everybody, this is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Today we're going to make some sweet potato oat bites. Now this is a small recipe. You can easily increase this recipe any way you want, but I like to make it in small amounts because it's just for me and my husband. Anyway, I have a very small blender here that I'm going to use for this mixture, and it works out really well. You want to start with 1 cup of oats of your choice. This is gluten-free, old-fashioned rolled oats, and we want to process them to make them more fine like a flour, but I'm going to add all the dry ingredients together first. So there's the 1 cup of oats, and in this little bowl I have a ½ teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And so now I'm going to process this together to grind these oats up, and then I will show you what it looks like after that. As you can see, I made it pretty fine. You can make it more coarse than this if you want to, but you do need to process them a little bit so that they have some oat flour in there as well. So now we want to add some liquid ingredients, and I have 1/2 cup of cooked sweet potato, and this is sweet potato that I just boiled in the jacket, boiled with the peel on there, and now I just peeled it and we're going to put it right in there. Now we want to add a little bit of sweetener of choice. I am going to use some maple syrup. I've even made this with apple butter and it came out very well. You can add 1 or 2 tablespoons. We like it with just 1 tablespoon. That's plenty of sweetener for us. If you want it really sweet, go with 2 tablespoons. And again, use whatever kind of sweetener you want, but it works out well with apple butter and maple syrup. And now you want to add 1 or 2 tablespoons milk of choice. Now I have 2 tablespoons of vanilla unsweetened oat milk here. If this is 2 tablespoons, if I used 2 tablespoons of the maple syrup, I would only need 1 tablespoon in here. So there's a little bit of flexibility here. So if you're not sure, start with 1 tablespoon of milk of choice, and then you can always add more. If you wind up that where it's too soft, too liquidy, add a little bit more oats. I'm going to blend this up, and then we're going to add some add-ins, and I've got raisins, but you could also use nuts or cinnamon chips or chocolate chips, something like that. So I'll show you what this looks like after I get this blended up. All right, I've transferred this to a bowl just to make it a little bit easier to work with so I can show you. Now this mixture is a good texture like it is, but I know that my raisins are a little bit on the dry side and they're going to soak up some of this moisture. So I'm going to add about another ½ tablespoon of this oat milk to the mixture just to make it a little bit more moist, because I know my raisins are going to soak a little bit in. We just want to mix it in there. That's all there is to it. And now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of raisins in there, and again you can add whatever addition you want to this. Some walnuts or pecans would be really good, or even some chocolate chips if that's what you want. We like to go with raisins. I like to go with raisins because they add a little bit more sweetness without the added refined type of sweetener to it, and that's all there is to it. So now I've got my oven preheated to 375. And so now we're going to scoop this out into small increments onto a silicone mat lined baking sheet. You can use parchment paper if you want. And just so you can see what I'm doing, I'm just making these small. You can make these any size you want, but this is just a teaspoon. And I'm just going to, let's see if I can do it where you can see here. Just going to put it in small mounds with a not quite full rounded teaspoon there. Now because these are a little different than a traditional quote cookie, these are not going to behave the same way in the oven as a traditional cookie. These will be softer, more cake-like, and They're not going to spread out a whole lot like a traditional cookie might. My sheet pan is full, so I'm going to make some of these a little bit bigger. Now, how many this makes is obviously going to depend upon how much of this batter or dough you use in each of your little bites. But these are not intended to be ginormous type cookies. These are just little bites. All right, there we go. Now the oven is preheated at 375, and I will bake them for about 18 to 20 minutes, and then we'll show you what they look like when they are finished. I just took these out of the oven and they baked for 18 minutes, and you can see they are good and set. And I can pick them up like this. I'm going to allow them to cool, and they are delicious to us just like they are. Again, you might like them sweeter than what they are, but they're just a nice little treat, a bite-sized treat for you. Any leftovers that you don't eat the same day they're made, I would put in a covered container and put them in the refrigerator, considering what is in them. I think they will keep better for you that way. Give these a try sometime. Let me know how you like them. The recipe is below, and a printable version is also on my blog. This is Judy at Judy in the Kitchen. Bye for now.